Opportunity cost is the cost of the next best alternative foregone, or as you can see on the screen, the true cost of something is what we have to give up to get it. Now, this is a very relevant concept for your exams as well as in economics, because this is essentially something that economists have come up with. And the reason I stress that this is important is because economics is essentially about making choices and making the best choices. So it is whenever you make a choice, it's very important that you consider your opportunity cost. We're going to look at some examples of opportunity costs. Let's look at the first one. A household decides to save up 500 in a bank account so that it can afford to go on a holiday. Now, this means they are giving up on the benefit of spending it. So the $500 that they saved, this could have been spent on whatever, and that is their opportunity cost. There are a couple of more examples on the screen. Read them and you should be able to understand the opportunity cost of all of them. In each of the following cases, consider what might be the opportunity cost. A person wanting to buy fruit decides to buy apples. So since he's bought apples and maybe he has not bought bananas or pears or any other fruit, that would be his opportunity cost. A person decides to study economics at a university. What do you think the opportunity cost would be in this case? If your answer is something along the lines of maybe if he could study medicine, he could study psychology, or maybe he could even use that money for some other purpose, then your answer is correct. A factory is built on a farmland. So if a factory has been on a farmland, that means that that area could be used for farming, but is no longer going to be used for it. So I would think that that's a pretty high opportunity cost. So maybe the opportunity cost in this case would be the loss of the farmlands. A woman has a television set which cost her $800 2 years ago, and a new set which cost her, sorry, not a new set, a new set would cost her $1,000, and she would sell her television set for $450. What is the opportunity cost of keeping the old television set? Now, in this case, since 450 is what she would be able to sell her current television set at, so anything that she would be able to do in that $450 would be her opportunity cost. The cost of not selling her television set is equivalent to $450. So let's look at opportunity costs for different players in your economy. Firstly, let's talk about consumers. So most people will not be able to buy everything that they possibly want. So when they are, as I'm sure you understand, that you can't probably buy most things that you want. So when you're making that decision, you are being very careful and you are trying to decide what will give you the most satisfaction. So similarly, every time a consumer buys something, they incur an opportunity cost. If you look at this example, every time you decide to buy a Magnum, let's say, then you're giving up on chocolate or whatever is your favorite candy. Workers' opportunity cost. So now every time workers decide to work somewhere, they are incurring an opportunity cost. So most times people will decide to work at the place where they think they will be able to minimize their opportunity cost. So let's say if I'm sitting here teaching you guys right now and I find out that there's a better offer for me and I'm unable to take it for whatever reasons, so then I'm incurring a higher opportunity cost. So I would just like to bring it to your notice that every time um, you make a decision, you are incurring an opportunity cost. And the reason that we're looking at it in such detail is because it's very important for your exams. Producers' opportunity cost. So obviously now when producers or businesses, when they open and when producers put their money into a business, they would obviously like to minimize their opportunity cost and they would put their resources or invest in a business that would give them maximum profit. But while they are, let's say, investing in one thing, another thing that is their opportunity cost might give them more profit. For example, if I decide to run a school for profit, and maybe if I had let's say set up a shopping center instead, maybe that would give me more profit. So in this case, opening up the school, I'm incurring a higher opportunity cost with not opening a shopping mall in that place. So just understand that every time producers invest in a particular business, they are also incurring an opportunity cost. But producers obviously tend to make their choices based on what will give them maximum profit. Government opportunity cost. Now, the government has to be really careful because every time they make a decision, they obviously incur an opportunity cost, and they have to be very careful to minimize their opportunity cost. So, a government obviously has a set budget. उस सेट बजट में से दे हैव टू प्लान वेरी केयरफुली सो दे हैव टू सी कि उनको किस चीज़ में सबसे कम अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट है एंड देन इन्वेस्ट अकॉर्डिंगली. So if you look at the screens, government has to decide where to spend, and too much expenditure, let's say on building roads, might compromise healthcare system. So the government then has to decide कि ज़्यादा important क्या है, roads या healthcare system. So they're incurring an opportunity cost, and it's very important for governments to try and minimize their opportunity costs because obviously their decisions will then affect their entire country. In recent years, more golf courses which use large quantities of water have opened in China. What may be the opportunity cost of this? Okay, cost of water. That doesn't make sense. Cost of water is not the opportunity cost. Um, Loss of farmland, sales of golf equipment, wages of golf course. Okay, now the part B is the only one that can possibly be an opportunity cost of you making those golf courses. All the others simply do not make sense.